photographer I researched for this assignment was Joel Sternfeld. He was born on June 30th in 1944 and is still alive today. Some of Sternfeld's biography: he was born in Brooklyn, New York. He's an American fine art photographer and educator. In 1965, he graduated from Dartmouth College in New Hampshire with a bachelor's in art. He's a recipient of 2 Guggenheim Fellowships. He spent a year in Italy on a Rome Prize. He teaches at Sarah Lawrence College, and there he holds as a Nobel Foundation Chair in Art and Cultural History. He has also won 10 awards between 1978 and 2013. For Sternfeld's photographic style, he's considered an artistic photographer whose work consists of both utopian and dystopian possibilities of the American experience. All his work has sought to expand the narrative possibilities of still photography, primarily through authored text. His works illustrate a meddling of time and place, which serves to elucidate, honor, and warn. Sternfeld is well known for large-format color photographs, one that extends the tradition of roadside America, which was initiated by Walker Evans in the 1930s. His projects consistently explore the possibilities of the American identity through the documentation of regular and ordinary people and places within the country. Each project of Sternfeld's is bound by a concept that emerges a sense of subtle irony, usually through the use of perceptive visual juxtapositions or by pairing images with informational text. Something about Sternfeld's work is that color is never arbitrary. It always functions in highly sophisticated ways in order to connect elements and resonate emotions. In other words, it means that color is never randomly used or selected, but rather he chooses a color palette to serve a specific purpose. Initially, Sternfeld took photos with small to medium format cameras, but when producing American Prospects, he used an 8 by 10 inch camera. The reason for Sternfeld to use a significantly larger camera for this project was because it allowed him to achieve crisp detail in his work, which is something that he's known for. So, American Prospects, which was released in 1987, is considered to be one of Sternfeld's best works. So, it all started when Sternfeld purchased a VW camper van and set out on an 8-year-long journey across America. The everyday scenes in this collection offer subtle insights into the socio-political existence of that era. So here I just listed a few examples from the American Prospects book. The first one being the abandoned freighter, the second being the exhausted renegade elephant, and the third one being the abandoned uranium refinery. So American Prospects places a certain emphasis on the complex relationship between humans and the American landscape. It exposes a natural world, one that is vulnerable to economic exploitation and overpowered by ecological challenges. America's vastness is captured through the panoramic depictions of wild yet beautiful landscapes. This was made possible not only due to the size of Sternfeld's camera for this project, but also Sternfeld's intelligent compositional techniques and his use of various focal points that are separated by great distances. Not only that, but Sternfeld's work also contained much subtle irony and humor. As shown in this picture, there's a fireman buying a pumpkin from a stall. The auburn color scheme of the image mirrors the flames that are engulfing a house in the background. It's ironic, as a fireman is usually putting out fires, but this one seems to be unaware of the scalding situation happening behind him. Next is Sternfeld's work called On This Site, A Landscape in Memoriam, published in 1996. So after visiting Central Park to see where Jennifer Levin had been killed in 1986 and seeing the beautiful scene that remained, made Sternfeld realize that something resided within him. He realized that there was a list of places that he couldn't forget about due to the tragedies that correlated with them. He then set out to photograph various sites that were marked throughout his lifetime. Through this project, Sternfeld photographed 50 infamous crime sites around the U.S. They contain images of disturbingly normal places and general landscapes that were left behind after tragedy. The hidden stories of these locations remain unsettlingly invisible and discreet. And despite such tragic and somewhat horrific events occurring at these places, on the outside, they do seem normal and like nothing out of the ordinary. It's sort of eerie that these places hold such a dreadful memory, yet it's also quite pleasing that they don't have to be categorized as cursed or ultimately avoided because of the unfortunate events that occurred there. So here I listed a few images from the On This Site project. In the first image, it shows a place where a 12-year-old paper boy, Johnny Gosch, was last seen on September 5th in 1982. He was talking to a man in a dark blue car. Despite there being a nationwide search, the boy is still missing. In the second photo, it shows a parking lot of a mail office in Edmond, Oklahoma. Here, Patrick Henry Sherrill murdered 14 coworkers in a shooting spree that began in the parking lot and later ended in the mail sorting room. Sherrill was reprimanded due to poor work performance and was threatened with dismissal the day prior to the incident. The massacre only ceased when Sherrill took his own life. And for the last image, on April 3rd in 1968, Martin Luther King Jr. gave his "I've Been to the Mountaintop" speech at Mason Temple in Memphis, Tennessee. He delivered the speech in regards to the Memphis sanitation strike. In his speech, Martin Luther King Jr. stated, "And I am happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. My eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord." The following day, he was assassinated on this balcony outside of room 306. This last page is just my works cited where I found all of my information. Thank you for listening.